Welcome to our exclusive unveiling of the latest innovation in ghost hunting technology, the SCIRE Ghost Frequency Audio Filter, or G-Freq. This device allows you to clean up any audio passed through it and enhance any of your DVPs, EVPs, footsteps, knocks, taps, bangs, and any other audio evidence. But before I go into details about how this works, I'd like to present some samples of the results. As you can hear, our team has experienced some impressive results during initial testing. G-Freq not only favours the potentially paranormal part of the audio, but reduces some noise from the recording. This should help you pick out more information from your evidence and use it to understand the phenomena better. Paranormal investigators typically gather a collection of interesting audio evidence, which can either be electronic voice phenomena, direct voice phenomena, footsteps, taps, bangs. But what can we learn about the paranormal using them? We analysed dozens of EVPs and recorded DVPs to see if there are any common factors in the structure of the sound waves, and noted that time after time these recorded included a high proportion of sound waves which existed in the 400 Hz to 550 Hz range. By applying a gain to the amplitude of this range, it made those EVPs and DVPs significantly clearer. During this experimentation, we nicknamed this the ghost frequency. The ghost frequency can be used for post-investigation, but clarifying potential communication during experiments at an investigation would be invaluable. It could be achieved using a sound equalizer equipment, which is often expensive and requires considerable investment and time to set up correctly. With time efficiency to get up and running and a much more affordable entry point, the G-Freq partial bandpass filter enables considerable flexibility in including the ghost frequency experiment in your own investigations. The G-Freq is an unpowered audio bandpass filter. You need some form of power on both sides of the device. That gives you lots of options for configuration. Here's a couple of examples. So for the first one, we'll need the following. G-Freq, 3.5mm to 3.5mm audio jack, another 3.5mm to 3.5mm audio jack, audio recorder, another audio recorder. And this setup will allow us to play any audio that we've captured through the G-Freq device, filtering the audio into a second device to record the cleaned up audio. So set this up. I put one output into the microphone or line out of your audio recorder, into the input of G-Freq. This is designed to shape like an arrow, so as it passes through, the audio passes through in the direction of the arrow. And the output into the microphone port, line in of your audio recorder. Then turn both on. The next step then is to just play the audio that you're trying to clean up. Hit record on this device. It'll pass through the G-Freq, enhancing the frequencies which are potentially paranormal and reducing the frequencies which are not. Once that's finished, stop here, and then you can play back your cleaned up audio from this one. Next configuration, live EVP cleanup session. To do that, use the exact same configuration as this. You have an audio recorder. Go through the G-Freq into another audio recorder. But this time, you plug an earphone into your earphone port of your outbound audio recorder, and then instead of playing on this one, we record. And when this records, what it's recording will be typically recorded on this device, but also output through the earphone port through G-Freq into this device, which will also record. So what you'll end up with is two recordings which are identical, apart from this one has had the audio pass through. The output from this recorder will do the same thing. As it's recording the G-Freq's output, it can be sent out through earphones and you can listen to it. So in real time, you can listen to what is being filtered through the G-Freq and being recorded for later further review. I tend to like doing this the entire investigation, have an audio recorder running, and then with the earphone pass through, you're listening to anything you might have captured in real time. Next configuration, burst session review. So for this, I've just done a burst session on this audio recorder. I want to now try and clean up something I might have heard on it. So I put a 3.5mm audio cable into the recorder, the input of the G-Freq, and then from the G-Freq into a powered speaker, so I can play it to myself, to the rest of the team, with the cleanup pass-through on the filter. One thing to note in this configuration is that because the frequencies which are not the ghost frequency band are reduced by this filter, the output is quieter than if you just put it straight through to this. But that's because you're trying to isolate the interesting frequencies from everything else. So just turn up the volume on this as much as possible and you'll be able to hear whatever was of the frequencies we're looking at here. Here's another idea for the G-Freq device, and that is to integrate it into your Estes Spirit Box sessions. In this configuration, you take your audio filter. Spirit Box uses an analog for a Spirit Box. The output of the Spirit Box goes into the input of the G-Freq, and the output of the G-Freq goes into the microphone port of your recorder, and then your earphones go into the earphone port on your recorder. Then you start your sweeping, hit record on your audio recorder, and then not only can you do your Estes session in real time, but it'll be filtered to the frequencies which are interesting and also recorded for posterity, so you can play back what you heard during the Estes session. Therefore, anyone else in the session will be able to double check what you heard, maybe see if they heard anything different or something you might have missed. Because the G-Freq is unpowered, passive bandpass filter, if I were to take my audio recorder, put the mic port with a 3.5mm jack cable into the input of here, a pair of earphones here, and then play back anything on this device or live record with this device, I will hear nothing from these headphones because these aren't powered, and that means this is just absorbing all the energy from there and not passing it through the air. A powered speaker or even an inline amplifier, which you can use between here and your earphones, will work. But if you have a inline amplifier, you can then just directly listen through your earphones. Okay, here's an interesting use of the G-Freq, and this will help you in conducting EMF experimentation. You'll need a guitar pickup with a 3.5mm jack attached to the output of it, and that would go into the input G-Freq. You need an audio recorder and another 3.5mm cable, which will be the output of the G-Freq, and into the mic port, the audio recorder, and then either earphones or a powered speaker, which can then be put into the earphone port of the recorder. Now, after you start hitting record, what you pick up from the guitar pickup is EMF. That's a very useful technique, generally speaking, to be able to track down when you're getting any spikes on a EMF device. And you can then find exactly where that audio is coming from. If it's something to the floor or in the ceiling, this is great for that. But you quite typically get lots of 50 Hertz power line noise, and the G-Freq reduces that. So then if you're not hearing all the power line stuff, or to a lesser extent, and it's more focusing on the ghost frequencies that we're interested in experimenting with. And by using the audio recorder, you're then recording as well what you're capturing. The interesting experiment is just to leave these during the session, if you're not using to debunk, and use it as if you were just recording EVPs and see what you capture on here. The G-Freq Ghost Frequency Filter is available exclusively on sciretech.co.uk. If needed, you can purchase optional 3.5mm audio cables along with your order. Thanks for watching.